Hello and hello. Welcome to the Embodied CEO Era. I am Megan Basili, and I have somebody here who I absolutely freaking love. I've been to some of Jo's events that she has put together for other people, and yeah, Jo has just got such an amazing energy, an amazing aura. And I love her. Obviously, you can tell how much I love her because of how I'm speaking about her. So welcome, Jo, to the Embodied CEO. I'm so happy that you are here. It's ridiculous.
Again, that's a beautiful introduction. I appreciate the invite and happy to share some insight hopefully today.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm like all higgledy-piggledy a little bit. I just got so excited to talk to Jo that I didn't bring up the questions that I normally.
That's
You'd
all
think
right.
I'd be used to this by now, but I don't know. Maybe I'm a bit starstruck. Who knows? Jo Spehr. So, for somebody meeting you for the first time, how would you describe the work that you do?
Work that I do. Okay, I'm really going to tune in for this one because deeper than like the strategy of events and how it can help business owners support to grow and scale and build authority. For me, the deeper thing that I enjoy is really curating experiences and creating memorable moments for people to come together. So events can be quite chaotic, a lot of admin. I call them admin on steroids. But for me, having that moment where I can stand back in the event and see everyone enjoying themselves and connecting or having a breakthrough or crying or laughing together, that's always the moment that I'm like, this makes it all so worth it. So yeah, there's lots of elements to what I do, but the deepest reason is to really create those moments.
Yeah, I just like all the events that I've gone to that you've helped with, like I just love that you have that energetic presence that's there. It's like, like people can come and talk to you and communicate with you and just ask you any questions, and you're like on it. You just straight away, you know exactly what they need. So maybe like, are you going into these events like a bit tapped into the psychic world and being like,
Yeah, I think it's like kind of just a natural ability that I have. Like I'm also like pattern recognition is great for me as well. But definitely I'm in tune even prior to the event, often with the attendees. And in the room, like I'm very aware of what's happening energetically. And I think that's part of what I support my clients with as well, especially experiencing the event from the outside and being able to be the observer. I'm able to really pick up different moments or different blocks potentially of where things weren't flowing and help the facilitator or the leader in the room to potentially tweak or change some of the event flow for the future events to make it even more impactful. So it's funny you mentioned, I call myself Tinkerbell crossed with a spreadsheet because like I'm very logical, detail orientated. I think you need to be really prepared and planned in the lead up to an event, and even on the day I have run sheets and all the things to make sure everything's running on time. But then I feel like I'm also like Tinkerbell because I'm kind of like floating around, sprinkling my pixie dust around the room. You don't always know that I'm there, but I'm definitely sprinkling some magic in the background as well.
yeah, I love that about you too. So do you only support people that facilitate, or do you do some kind of facilitation on your own as well? Like what's the go there?
Yeah, so when I first started my business, I was in the transformation coaching space. So I was doing breath work and transformation coaching. And part of that was me running my own workshops, breathwork events, women's empowerment events. And I was also supporting my mentor at the time to run his business workshops, and they were scaling quite rapidly, and they needed somebody professional with event experience to help support them. And so I always had a foot in events, even prior to running my own business. I was in events at the Gold Coast Council. And so after a period of time, I pivoted my business into just events because that's my passion and my zone of genius. And I stepped away from running as many of my own, and I more stepped into helping other entrepreneurs and business owners to plan and deliver impactful events for their community. So part of that, depending on the event or the retreat, I sometimes do still get to step in and facilitate. Like I've done some breathwork sessions here and there over the years. And then last year, when I was in Bali, actually I'm in Bali at the moment, I launched Mic Drop, which is a monthly event on the Gold Coast to give leaders of all levels an opportunity to share their voice and to get visible. So I host that, and we have different guest speakers and entertainment come in every month. So that's kind of my baby at the moment. But it's funny you ask, because since being in Bali, I'm feeling really cool to actually run my own retreat, which I have run my own retreat once before. And I loved it. Like if I was to choose an event that I love more than any other style, it's retreats, because they're a lot more feminine and flowy, and like you create spaciousness for whatever the thread is, you know. Whereas, you know, a full workshop is a little bit more structured, and there's certain things you need to get done in a set period of time. So yeah, that's the journey of me with running events.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like you do a bit of both. Like you have your own event, and then you are supportive of people. And I think when people go to your event, that monthly thing, and your retreats that you're thinking about doing, it's like, you know, when they run so well, it's kind of like advertisement for them as well as for you for what you do as well. So you've got your hand kind of in both aspects there.
I think part of the reason I launched that event was because I had so many people constantly asking me for opportunities to speak on stage. They're like, Jojo, you're at all the events. I want to get on more stages. And so I was just listening to the common thread that kept coming into my awareness. And then the other piece was like, okay, I teach so much amazing event strategy and how to set an event up in the background. This is my opportunity to fully embody that and walk the talk as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I think that's where a lot of like feminine entrepreneurs do get it wrong. There's so many that are just do this, do this, do this, do this. But when you're actually walking the walk and talking the talk, that's when people are more attracted to you, because you're not just pulling information out of thin air.
Yeah, definitely. I think it helps. It's that proof as well. And having people trust you is really important, obviously, if they're going to pay you for a service. So it all adds up.
Yeah. And you just kind of think of everything. Like I know that you've been doing the events for a while now, so you kind of know, you know, what people and anticipate what people are needing in their events. But it's like, I don't know, it's like as soon as, like sometimes people don't even need to ask you for things. Like I've been at events and there's been someone like looking around, and I've been going, what are you doing? And you just come with a pen, or like you just know what they need. And I'm like, Jo is literally the best.
I love it. Like I said, I'm kind of always observing, and I'm kind of always in tune with what people need and kind of anticipate needs, I guess. So I think that comes with like the years and years of experience, but as well as just being tuned in and knowing that my role, I feel like almost like a guardian, right? So I'm there to protect and serve the actual leader and the host of the event, but then also the attendees are really important. So I know in my own experience of events, like those little details really matter and really make you feel important, or really leave you feeling like I had a great experience. And I think that there's like always two intentions with events. It's like, firstly, what are we creating the event for in terms of the attendees? What do we want them to feel and experience, and what do we want them to walk away with? And then there's the business objective of like, okay, what is the intention behind me running this from a business strategy perspective? Like, is it to build authority? Is it to make money? Is it to invite people to continue the journey with me? So those are the two like first questions that I ask my clients around like, what's the overall intention for the event?
Intention is freaking everything, hey.
It is, yeah. Like, sometimes people don't even think of it. They're like, oh, I don't know, I just thought I'd run this event. And so I love to be able to get in there with them and be like, okay, that's great. Like, you're going to grow so much and you're going to experience so much of yourself coming to the surface with running the event, because they're a big initiation for sure. So I like to get in, and that's the spreadsheet part of me. Like, let's get a little bit practical, like we'll get a little bit woo as well, you know. So it's like, I think a perfect balance of both.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, it is a big initiation. I mean, I haven't done events outside of my studio, but even just having like a few people coming into my studio, it's like a whole different ball game and thought process and all that kind of stuff. So it is a big initiation. Like, do you find, there's that saying that nothing teaches you more about yourself than one, becoming a parent, and two, starting a business. Do you think that this then teaches another part of yourself from that original business, and then doing an event and having an event run, that teaches you another level of yourself?
Percent. And I think in business, there's always levels and layers. Like, even as your income increases, you might notice certain things coming up. You know, you hit a ceiling and it's like, okay, I need to actually implement a different strategy or idea or direction to be able to like transcend them. So events are just a big one though, because you're showing up to be seen. There can be fear of like public speaking and fear of judgment and all of those things that you potentially thought you worked through as you started your business, or you started to show up on social media, even can come back to the surface, like new level, same devil kind of thing. So it can really amplify those, I suppose, limitations or those fears that are still kind of sitting in there, because it's just a whole new level. It really is a big step and a big level up. And I think that's why so many people don't do this, because it's scary and maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable hiding behind the screen, or, just sticking to the online stuff. So it's not for everyone, but I think that, if you're feeling like I'm ready to really own my authority and stand out in the industry, doing in-person things is like, one of the biggest leaps you can take.
Yeah. So what's the biggest event that you've put on for people? Guest wise.
Yes, right. So when I was working at the Gold Coast Council, I was at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre, which was built for the Commonwealth Games. So big sports centre, but we would host all different styles of events there, like galas. I think we even did a funeral there one time, and MMA fights. So that had a capacity of up to 5,000. And so I also was the precinct operations manager. So we were in a precinct next to the AFL stadium. So often we would have big concerts or big events where both stadiums, our stadium and an AFL stadium, were both activated or both like working in conjunction with each other. Like they would use our centres for parking and for security and for VIP check-ins. So sometimes that was like tens of thousands of people. So obviously I'm not doing that alone. It's part of a bigger team, but I think doing events operationally at that level really has made me see like these smaller style events as easier in a way, or it's like it's the same system to use to make sure everything's tracked and all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed kind of thing. So it makes this kind of like a bit simpler at the smaller level. So outside of that, I would say Dreamfest, which we had 800 people in the room plus virtual last year. That was probably the biggest to date in terms of my like running in my own business. The year before was about 700 people. And then this year, the venue only has capacity for like 800. So you can't really grow bigger than that. But I'll be doing that event again this year, which is always a lot of fun.
I'd have to start finding a bigger venue to start hosting these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so like for people who are like, I want to do on stage stuff and I want to like do in-person things, but I only have like a really small audience at the moment. Like I don't really feel like I could sell out like a bigger event. What is the most minimal amount of people that you would help facilitate an event for?
I think for me, I've worked with entrepreneurs who are really wanting to design their very first signature event, which is like a proper full day workshop. Some of my clients in the past like may have run some workshops I like facilitated some smaller like circles or events in that respect, and then they're ready to up level. And so for me, I'm like, it's not always about the number. Sometimes it's about you just actually doing the thing and being okay with the outcome, because a lot of the time the fear that stops people doing it is the fact of like, oh, what if nobody comes? Like that's a big one. And I get it too. Like I got to re-experience all of those feelings when I launched my own event, and I felt like it was my reputation on the line as well, right? Like I'm the event queen. What if I can't actually get people to come along? And so I think there's a few different ways to look at it. Like for me now, like I've kind of almost grown past helping entrepreneurs at a certain level. And I'm also now working with like the 7-8 figure entrepreneurs who are really established in their business, because that means I can just like get in, get my job done, integrate with their team, help run the event, and then kind of get out. Whereas the clients that I've worked with who really need us to curate the full event, like that's quite a longer journey. It's a lot more hand holding. It's a lot more almost coaching that's needed, because all the fears and the doubts and insecurities can come up. So I was a coach in the past, so I've been able to bring a lot of those skills forward. But I'm finding that I love certain elements of that, and then sometimes it feels like it's not always the best use of my skills at the level that I kind of am playing at now. So I have got one client in that level at the moment, and I'm kind of will pick and choose, but I find that when I get in and support them to figure out where the event fits into their business model and their complete overall ecosystem of how their business works, sometimes like there's some gaps in their business, and we have to change and tweak some things. And I don't like to call myself a business mentor, although like I'm great at certain elements of it, but I sometimes find that I'm crossing over out of my zone of genius into an area that I'm good at, because obviously I run my own successful business, but it's not the thing that I fully love to do or lights me up necessarily. So I've learned over the years to be mindful of like working with those businesses who are like established and have a proven system of how they're getting clients in and how their offers work, because then the event really just amplifies it, and we don't have to spend as much time building out a little bit more infrastructure to then make the event successful. So to circle back to your answer, like I think if you're thinking about running events, like just do it. And like maybe if you've been running some smaller intimate stuff, it's not super hard to like say upgrade it to like a half-day workshop where you're actually using a slideshow presentation and you're adding value in a different way. I think people see you differently from facilitating like a circle or facilitating embodiment practices in a session compared to delivering actual value and being a little bit more in your authority and like sharing education pieces, but then also you can bring in embodiment and other facilitated sessions as part of that as well. So if it's 2 people, great, it's like celebrate that. If it's 6, like what I find is that the smaller events are actually easier in a lot of ways, because people feel like they're getting a real intimate session with you, and then they build a lot of connection and trust with you. And if they see you as the person they want to continue the journey with, it makes it an easier invitation for them to do so. Whereas in a bigger room, there's less touch points, it can feel a little bit less intimate. And so sometimes if you're inviting to that next step, it can feel a little bit clunky or a little bit harder. So there's pros and cons to every kind of size, if that helps.
Yeah, I can imagine. So we are live into the Embodied CEO Era group on Facebook. So anybody who is watching this or listening to this at a later date, like you can come to the actual live interview. Kat says hi.
Hi, Kat.
Say hi, Kat. How are you, my love? Okay, so what is your favorite thing about what you do? That moment where you're like, this makes everything worth it.
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned at the start, it's actually seeing the attendees interact and have a really fun experience, or having those breakthrough moments. Like every event's different. Some are transformational styles, some are more business, but business is a whole personal development journey in itself, right? So it's really cool that I get to create so many different unique experiences. Like Dreamfest, for example, like we have a DJ there and we have entertainment, and so it's like really high vibe and fun. And I used to party a lot, and so it's almost like what's it called? Stopped going to nightclubs, but then I changed them over to personal development groups. So I think, yeah, just the so many levels and layers of what people can experience. I really enjoy seeing the journey of that.
Yeah, amazing. Kat says that she loves hearing your take on everything, so that's nice.
Hey, thanks, Kat.
Okay, so what are you offering at the moment? What is your biggest, or the one that you want to talk about in this space here? What's your offer that you're selling?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I mostly work with like high-level entrepreneurs to really help them plan and deliver their events. And also at the moment, I'm still offering for business owners who maybe don't have a solid event structure in place already, or they're wanting to maybe make their current event more profitable. I do event strategy sessions. So it could be 90 minutes up to 2 hours where we'll sit down and I'll fully get deep into the intention and the objective behind the event and look at the structure. And we map it out in a full event blueprint. So you pretty much leave knowing how to implement everything from start to finish and what pieces you need to create the actual event flow that are going to help people then potentially continue the journey with you if that's the intention of the event as well. So I still do offer those, which are a lot of fun. We seem to get so much done in that time.
Yeah, sometimes like when you're tuned in and tapped in and you're really like focused, there's so much you can do in an hour.
Oh, yeah.
We underestimate an hour, don't we? We're like, oh, only an hour? My God, I could rewrite you a whole business blueprint attuned to your energy and what you need in half an hour. And then we've got the other half an hour just to nut out any limiting beliefs and stuff like that. So it's like an hour is actually a really long time when you're in it.
I think I have them up for 2 hours at the moment. So we get a lot of the event documentation done, which is just a real strong guide to help, because there are a lot of pieces and a lot of steps with the event itself. So if you're going in without much experience, it can feel a bit overwhelming. So this is just a really clear step-by-step plan, and also then how to formulate the actual event flow itself from when people walk in and what little workshops you can do throughout the day as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Just maybe a little weird question for you. That 90-minute or 2 hour, I don't know what you call it. Is it like an event blueprint?
Strategy session.
Event strategy session. Like if people are still in the online space and only want to do online at this moment, but they're only getting like maybe a handful of people into their live online events and they want to amplify that onto a bigger scale and get like maybe 50 or 100 people, would you still offer that same kind of strategy blueprint for an online event?
I think that some of the foundational pieces to the event will be like looking at your ideal client, looking at what problems and desires that they have, and then positioning the event to help solve that problem and help give them the transformation. So there are definitely pieces that could translate over to online. I think that the landscape of the market has changed so much lately, and so potentially things that were working well aren't necessarily working as well anymore. Personally, I haven't run anything online for a while, and so I definitely think you could translate a lot of the structure to an online event or an online workshop for sure. But in terms of getting people there, that's obviously a marketing thing, which like I mentioned, like that's kind of in the business realm. I will help with it, I'll support with it, but I don't ever like to say that's my complete zone of genius, because it's like it's its own beast in itself, right? I think a lot of people these days are going to paid ads because it is a lot harder to get people to trust you online, especially now with AI. And, you know, I think they say it's like 50 or 70 touch points someone needs to see of you before they're actually going to click on register for the masterclass, or sign me up for the email, or whatever it might be, whatever the call to action is. So one of the pieces I think that in-person events supports is like people get in the room with you, they feel your energy, they get to know you, they see that you're a real person and that AI isn't on stage talking for you, right? And they think it builds trust, like, and trust like so much quicker. So the tricky part can sometimes be getting people interested and into these spaces, whether it is online or in person. So what I suggest sometimes is also just doing some market research and actually reaching out to your community and to people and saying like, hey, I've got this idea, like, would you be interested? Like, if I was to do this thing, what would you want to see? And actually design it for what they're asking for instead of what you maybe think they need. Because, you know, it's like we know what they need, but they don't always know what they need.
Yeah. So yeah, if someone came to you and said, I'm only doing online at the moment, and at some point I do want to do in person, would you still be able to offer them that strategy?
I'd probably have a chat with them and just figure out whether it was viable. Like, I'm not the kind of person that I'm just going to sell people into anything for the sake of it. I would rather them find the right support. So I think it would have to have a chat and like have a look at their business model and like that kind of thing, and then I'd be able to make a more informed decision. But yeah, I'm open to it.
Yeah, I think that's what I love about you as well, is like, you know what, I'm just going to tell you right up right now, like, yeah, we can do further work together. I would really enjoy that. Or, you know what, you just need to like figure out and nut out a few more things. I'm not just going to take your money for the sake of taking your money.
Yeah.
So,
I think also part of this feeling that I'm getting to run this retreat, it's a very intuitive thing. I have no idea like what it looks like right now, but I'm also in this stage of gathering data and market researching and talking to some of the people in my network around, okay, if you were to pay me to come to a retreat, like what would you want to receive from me? So I'm also in that like stage of figuring out, you know, like how to position that and how to market that. So
yeah, and sometimes that's a fun thing. Like when you come at it from a curiosity point of view, like, oh, I feel like I want to do a retreat. I wonder what that would look like. And I wonder how I could work this part into that part that makes this work really well. And like that's the curiosity nature, not like, oh, I'm going to do a retreat because I feel like I am in lack and I need to make some money, and maybe a retreat is going to be the answer to that. Like it's a whole different energy, isn't it?
Yeah, no, like this retreat makes no logical sense to me at all, because it wouldn't be targeted at the level of client that I'm working with right now. Like 7 to 8 figure entrepreneurs, they're paying me to buy their time back. They just want me to get in and do a job, and so they can focus on other things, right? So that level aren't necessarily going to pay to come to a retreat for me to show them things they already know, right? So for me, it's like, oh shit, okay, it's a different level of avatar. It's potentially the clients that I was focusing on, you know, with helping them start like mapping out their event and all the little pieces that go into that, like the branding pillars and the content and yeah, so I'm like, oh shit, that it feels weird in a sense, because I'm like, that's not who I've been focusing on, but there's a part of me that's like, okay, people potentially want this from me, and am I doing them a disservice by not, you know, giving them an opportunity to learn what I've learned?
Yeah, and also sometimes people just want to use a business retreat as an excuse to go over to Bali with you and claim it all back on tax.
I know, and like it'd be so fun. So yeah, I think I'm just in this phase of like fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I love that. I love that energy. I feel like I'm gonna be in that energy at the moment. Like, you know what? Just going to find out. I'm just going to go all in. We'll find out what happens at some point. It's either going to work or I'm going to fall flat on my face and I'm going to be able to laugh at myself. Either way, we're going to have fun.
Let's have fun. That's the right attitude to have.
Yeah, that's where people get so caught up in the I've got to be successful and this has got to work, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to feel like a failure and all these other kind of things.
Yeah.
And really, it's just like, let's just fuck around, find out. If it's meant for you, it will find you. No need to stress.
Yeah, it's funny when I found out, like I'm a projector in human design. And one of my lines is trial and error, like the great experimenter. And it's funny because I used to be such a perfectionist, and then it almost gave me extra permission that I actually have to learn through failure. I have to trial, error, trial, error. That's how I learn. I get the data I need to then improve and refine. So yeah, I suppose that's just my motto now. So what can I find out?
Yeah. But I love that you're failing forward. It's like,
Yes.
you know what, I'm just going to do this. And if it fails, well, I've got some data that that doesn't work for me, and that's fine, not a problem. Not, oh my God, like failure.
Yeah.
It just,
Yeah.
yeah, scares so many people. There was not that long ago where me and the kids, when the kids were a little bit smaller, we would all sit around the kitchen table, go, so what are you grateful for? Well, these three things that you're grateful for, and list at least one thing that you failed at today. And like sometimes it's like, oh, well, I failed to, I don't know, brush my teeth. And it's like, well, that's okay. It's all right. Like,
Yeah.
not a big deal. So, and
Like
me.
exposure therapy, hey? You don't
Yeah.
have to hide it and shame it, you know,
Yeah. Failure is
it's
not
just
something
part
to
of
be.
who we are.
Failure means you tried.
Exactly. Yeah. Love that.
Failure means you gave it a red hot crack. So there you go. Okay, cool. So how do people get in contact with you, Jo?
I'm most active on Instagram, so Jojo_Spehr or the events queen. I also am on Facebook as well under Jo Spehr. I have a lot of requests from people though, so I'm apologize if I don't add you on there, but yeah, I'd say Instagram's probably the place to go.
Instagram's the place to go. So I will put the link for Jojo_Spehr. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
In the link below this. So yeah, like if you are in the Gold Coast and you have the opportunity to go to this mic drop thing, like I am dying to go, but unfortunately I don't live anywhere near the Gold Coast. But at some point, you've already asked me to be a facilitator at some point, so maybe I'll fly on up there later on in the year and I can
Yeah,
come and be on your stage. That would be fun.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so I ask everybody this last and foremost. What's your biggest hope for humanity?
Everything that I do is for the future generations. I think of the traumas and the hardships that I've experienced, especially as a young child. And I feel so strongly that we are the chain breakers to allow the future generations to be more empowered, to actually feel their feelings and to be more human than what I felt I was allowed. I really create these spaces to give an opportunity for people to feel seen and heard, because I didn't feel that when I was growing up. So the deeper reason that I do what I do is really to create, yeah, a really strong foundation for the future generations.
I love that. That is so like, yeah, I understand, because we grew up in like the era where like children are meant to be seen, not necessarily heard. Like I was praised. I used to sit in the corner and play with my Barbie dolls because I just like I was in my own little bubble. I think maybe now looking back at it, maybe that was the empath in me that was like, I'll just sit here and I won't bother anyone, then nobody will bother me, and then I don't have to like try and protect myself against different energies. Like maybe that was a protection mechanism. But I was praised. Oh, look at Megan sitting over there in the corner. She's still sitting there. She's so good. So
Girl,
I
yeah.
grew up thinking, well, you know, in order to be a good girl, I have to sit in the corner and just not be seen and not say anything stupid and, you know, that kind of stuff. So I love that. I feel like it's really important.
Especially as women, like we are emotional beings, and that was like suppressed a lot for me as a child. Like my big outbursts, or not that they were big, I was also a very good girl. I was always so praised for that. So yeah, just allowing all of us to feel and experience the full spectrum of emotion, which is so normal as humans, but it's not normalized.
Yeah, it is. All right, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having
Like,
me.
I really, really, really appreciate it. And I just, like I said, I've got so much love for you. And I can see, like, not that I'm tapping into your energy because I don't do that without your
I
permission,
give you permission, it's fine.
there's so many people that are like, just freaking go for it, stop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can just see it like being like a huge thing, especially here in Australia, because like, I don't know, it feels like there needs to be more in-person events in Australia at a bigger caliber, because I don't know, it just feels like it's missing here. I think that was the other thing I wanted to ask you before we do go is like, so you're based in the Gold Coast. Do you travel around Australia, or would you go with someone to Bali if they're holding a retreat for themselves? And like, do you travel around everywhere, or is there like a limitation as to where you're willing to travel?
And wherever my clients need me to go, yeah, they pay me to fly where they need me. So, Australian tours, or I've done a few intensives and retreats over in Bali. So yeah, I'm open to working with the client and obviously covering costs and things to get me where they need me to go. But that's actually very common for me to be flown around, which I absolutely love as well.
The perks. You got to enjoy the perks. Why
Get
not?
a paid holiday. So yeah, I always tack on a bit of a trip on the end normally, which is fun.
Yeah, it's like it's not actually a paid holiday. The holiday part is the extended bit at the end.
Yeah,
You get paid to work, to travel to work. Incredible life, incredible. Yeah, all right. So thank you, Jo Spehr. If anybody wants to get in contact with her, please use the links. Utilize this amazing woman, because honestly, you honestly missing out if you don't know her.
Yeah, please reach out. Even if you have questions, like a lot of the time I have people say like, oh, I need a venue, and I have so many connections for events and AV and different people you might need for your events. So like, I'm just so generous in offering up support where I can, especially if you're not maybe at the level that you can engage to pay me. Like, I'm still here to support in what I can. Yeah, don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Yeah. And our new motto is just go for it.
Yeah.
Just go for it. Give it a whirl, girl.
Yeah.
Fuck around and find out, see what happens. Yeah,
exactly.
Don't take it so seriously that, like, the seriousness is sometimes where people get stuck.
Yeah, have a bit of fun on the way.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, thank you, Jo. Love you heaps. And everybody who is watching, love you too. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and remember to always learn lots and be kind. Bye for now.